Have you ever wanted to give a dinner party but just didn't know what to do? The idea of having people over can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. I'm Hal Owen, and today I'm going to show you the basics for planning and serving a successful dinner. We'll go through every step from choosing a date on to choosing menus, how to prepare the food or looking for alternatives if you want, how to set the table, which can be a challenge in itself, and then going on to serve a multi-course meal and looking fabulous at the same time. My goal here is to show you that this can be a fun and enriching experience. It's a great way to build on existing relationships and to make new friends as well. So let's get to it. Larry, hey, it's Hal Owen. How you doing? So anyway, it's okay. I want to welcome everyone tonight. So you've decided to take the plunge and have a dinner party. Listen, you don't even have to think of it as a dinner party. You're inviting friends over for some grub. Now, this isn't just like having guys over for a football game, but the principle is the same. You're inviting people into your home to share your company, the company of others, and to have a wonderful meal. So the first thing you want to do is choose a date. Of course, the weekends will be the best, Friday night or Saturday night. But if that doesn't fit into your schedule, then look at Wednesday evening, because it's a nice way to break up the work week. So once you've chosen a date, then think about who you want to invite. It's a great opportunity to bond with colleagues from work or perhaps people that you've met in other social situations. The important thing is that they're people that you want to spend time with and that you feel will get along with one another. Now remember, you're the common denominator, and I've always found that if I'm having a good time, then I know everybody else is having a good time. It used to be that a written invitation was the way to go, but nowadays a phone call or an email is perfectly appropriate. Once you've done all of that and gotten your commitments from everyone, you're ready to go on to the next step. Now I'm going to take you through an overview of what your evening is going to be like. When your guests arrive, you will offer them something to drink. I recommend that you have sparkling water with perhaps some lemon and lime wedges, some white wine, some red wine, and some beer. This is going to last probably 30 to 45 minutes. At some point during that period, you're going to get up and go into the kitchen and go ahead and prepare the first course. This evening we're going to be making a gazpacho, which is a cold vegetable soup. It's easy, it's nutritious, and everyone will enjoy it, I guarantee it. And you'll go ahead and put the gazpacho into the bowls and then place the bowls at each person's place setting. Invite your guests then to come and sit at the table. Once everyone is seated, make sure everyone has got some wine in their glass, some water available to them. Then you pick up your wine glass and do a toast. Welcome everyone and tell them how much you appreciate that they have come. Then explain to them what it is that you're serving and enjoy your first course. After you're finished with that, you'll remove the plates and then go back into the kitchen and prepare the plates with the entree and vegetables. As an alternative, you can also do it a buffet style, but I think that it's a little nicer if you go ahead and prepare the plates. After you finish your entrees, again, the plates will be removed. Your dessert, bring it in and show it to them. Tonight we're going to be preparing a fresh berry tart. It's impressive, but it's also easy to make and it's delicious. I suggest that you take it back into the kitchen and cut the slices and put them onto plates and then bring them back in and serve your guests that way. And then your dinner is completed. You will have served everyone a wonderful meal and everyone will be having a great time. Now we're down to the details. Believe it or not, you've already done the most difficult parts of the dinner. You've chosen your date, you've chosen your guests, and you've chosen your menu. What we're going to focus on now is your tabletop inventory, everything that you will need to serve the meal, and then we'll go on to ingredients for preparing the meal. I'm going to show you a typical place setting Remember though that if you don't have all of these things, if you only have jelly jars for glasses, that's okay. This is not about stressing out and worrying about your presentation. It's about having friends over for a meal. Let's start with your table. You have the options. You can do a tablecloth, you can do a placemat, or in this case, I'm going to show you what is called a charger or a service plate. The service plate is basically a larger plate on which you place all the other plates. So we're going to put this charger right in the middle of the plate setting. Then you'll take your dinner plate and place it in the middle of the charger. Then you're going to take your soup plate, because for this dinner we're doing gazpacho for the first course, and you're going to place it in the middle of the dinner plate. And that takes care of your china. Then your flatware. Your fork goes on the left. You put your dinner knife and your soup spoon on the right, with the soup spoon being on the outside. In this case, we also are showing a dessert fork and a coffee spoon. They go to the top of the charger. And that takes care of your flatware. If you're serving bread or rolls with your meal, you have the option of using what's called a bread plate. It would go at like the 11 o'clock position, just above the dinner fork. Then your stemware. Since we're serving fish as the main course, I'm using a white wine glass, which is smaller than a red wine glass. It goes at the 1 o'clock position, and then next to it to the right, we're using a water glass. Finally, we have a napkin. The napkin can go to the left of the fork, or you can place the napkin in the middle of the soup bowl, or if you want, you can add a little bit of flair, you can roll it up and place it inside the water glass. And that is your place setting. Now you'll simply reproduce that for all the number of guests that you have. Now your ingredients. If you're going to cook your meal, go through the recipes and write down each ingredient that you will need. I suggest that you shop no more than 2 or 3 days before your event. Definitely don't do it the day of the event. That will be too much to do in one day. But you don't want to do it too far in advance because you want the food to be fresh. So for instance, if you're having your dinner party on a Friday night, do your grocery shopping Tuesday or Wednesday. Also, if you want to have a flower arrangement, which adds a bit of elegance to your dining table, you can buy your flowers at the same time that you're doing your grocery shopping. Okay, we've made it to the big day. You've got your menu already chosen, you've done your grocery shopping, your guests are confirmed, and now it's ready to start preparing the meal, if you're going to be cooking it. Remember, it's not about stressing yourself out. You can always go and get alternatives. But we're going to focus on cooking, and we're going to start with the asparagus. What you do with asparagus is very simple. After you get it from the store, take it home, rinse it well. I've already done that. And then just take the spears and bend them. They will break naturally. And just continue doing that with your spears until you've gone through all of them. You're going to keep the upper part and be discarding the lower part. While we're doing this, you might as well go ahead and get your water boiling, because once you've broken the spears, then what you're going to do is put them into boiling water for 5 minutes. You want to be careful with asparagus not to overcook it. Also, you want the heads to be closed. You see how these little things coming out are tight? You want that because asparagus, if it's left to mature, these will open up and it will actually bloom. So you want to make sure that the tips of the asparagus, the little buds are tight. So we're going to continue and finish up the spears. And I've already gone ahead and prepared the ingredients that we'll be using for the marinade. What we've got over here is I've got some chopped red or Bermuda onion. If you can't find red onion, you can use Vidalia onion. You don't want to use yellow. Yellow is going to be a little too tart. So stick with red, white, or Vidalia. Then I've got some salt over here. The black is balsamic vinegar. And then over here, I've got some lemon juice and Dijon mustard. If you can't find Dijon mustard, Any golden mustard would work well, but Dijon's got just a nice blend of spices and it works really well with the recipe. I'm going to take my red onion, pour it into a bowl. Then I'm going to take some salt, put it in. Then I've got some balsamic vinegar. If you can't find balsamic, you can use red wine vinegar or a sherry vinegar. Then I'm going to take some lemon juice and Dijon mustard and mix that in. Get that in there. Go ahead and mix all those ingredients together. So you've got them all mixed together like that. Okay, once you've got them mixed together, then slowly take your olive oil and while you're whisking, add slowly the olive oil, just like you see me doing here. Okay. I'm going to take the asparagus and lay them in the dish rather than just dumping them in because since they've been blanched now, they are a little bit more fragile. So we're just going to take them, but don't worry about getting them. I mean, if you get some on top of one another, that's perfectly okay. I just don't want to run the risk of breaking off any of the heads. So we're going like this. They're still kind of warm. Okay, so this is my last bit, putting them on top there. Now we're going to take the marinade that we had already made, go ahead and whisk it some more, and then just drizzle it over the asparagus. Now let's talk about the gazpacho. I made the one for tonight last night, and I suggest you do the same. It gives the vegetables a chance to marinate in the juice and enhances the flavor. Make sure also that you seed all the vegetables, and I want to just show you how to seed the bell pepper and the jalapeno because those two especially you want to make sure that you get rid of the seeds. So with the jalapeno, what you're going to do is cut off the top and the bottom, cut it lengthwise like this, and then you'll see inside all the little seed pods. And basically all I do is just take my finger and scrape them out, do it with both sides. Make sure you rinse your hands because let me tell you something, you put your fingers up to your eyes right now with these seeds on them, you will be hurting. And then you're going to chop up the seeds, the pods real fine and add it to the soup. Now with the bell pepper, what you want to do, first of all, is you need to remove the stem. So what I do is you just cut along the top, like this, go all the way around, pull out, you can see you already got some of the seeds out that way, pull out the stem, then once again, cut it down the middle. Once you've cleared out the seeds, again, you're going to chop up the bell pepper very fine and add it into the soup mixture. You will have done that also with the tomatoes as well as the cucumbers. And basically, the gazpacho is just a cold, raw vegetable soup. The juices are from the vegetables themselves. If it gets a little thick, you can add a little bit of water to thin it out. You want to chill it and then just take it out of the refrigerator and pour it into the bowls when you're ready to serve it. It's real easy and it's very tasty. Okay, now what we're going to do is start the preparation of the fresh berry tart. I'm going to show you two different ways of doing it. This is a pre-made store-bought pie shell. Real easy. If you don't have a tart pan, this is definitely the way to go. I'm also going to make one using a real tart pan. The idea behind a tart pan is that the bottom comes out so that once your tart is completed, you just lift it out from the bottom and you can put it onto a serving plate. So this is already made. Nothing you need to do there right now except we are going to pierce the bottom. You do this with a fork because you don't want the crust to puff up. Now this is also a pre-made crust. You find this in the refrigerator section where the butter is. Go ahead and lay it in the tart pan and then just carefully unroll it. Then you're just going to work it around the edges. Then just push it down over the top like this to get rid of the excess. This is really just a more elegant way of presenting a tart. Now I've got my oven preheated to 450 degrees, and we're going to put them in the oven and then cook them for 10 to 12 minutes. You want the crust to become a golden brown. All right, now we're going to deal with the salmon and get it prepared for baking later on, just before you serve the soup, because the salmon only takes about 18 minutes to bake. But we're going to go ahead and make the sauce. The sauce comprises of vinegar, which we've got here. I'm using rice vinegar. Then I've got Dijon mustard, as well as dry mustard, and then sugar. We're going to put these into the blender. And then we're going to add our oil until we get a nice lemony colored sauce. I've already coated the salmon fillets with a light dusting of some dry thyme, black pepper, and a little bit of salt. I tend to go pretty light with the salt. I'm then going to take the mustard sauce, about a tablespoon per fillet. I'm going to spread it over each of the fillets. Now I'm going to take the breadcrumbs, and I'm going to just sort of scatter it over the top of the mustard. I'm going to do the scattering first, and then I'm going to come back and press it in, because otherwise it gets kind of messy. We're going to put it in the refrigerator now and leave it there until we're ready to bake it later on during the evening. After that, we're going to go check the dining table, make sure everything is okay there. Do a quick look around the house, make sure all the underwear is put away, and then we're going to relax and get ready for the evening. Now, while you're at the table, of course, conversation is very, very important. There's certain things nowadays that you really shouldn't talk about at dinners. Politics, religion, and our times, it's just not a nice thing or a good thing to bring up. So I suggest that you ask people questions about themselves. Encourage people to talk about themselves. And I guarantee you that they will think that you are a brilliant conversationalist. I've been doing this a long time. I guarantee you that always works. Now I'm getting ready to start serving the soup. Originally my guests were supposed to be in the living room, but they all wanted to come hang out in the kitchen, so they get to see the old pot that I made the soup in. My guest Michelle is going to start helping me put the soup out. I've had several guests request that they not get any sour cream, so we're going to put their plates down first. And the fact that my guests are seeing this big old ugly pot, well, that's their problem. Okay, well, we've been enjoying our cocktail hour, but now it's time to come to the table. I've already put out the soup plates, so now I'm getting ready to call my guests and ask them to join me at the dinner table. Okay, everybody, y'all ready to eat some dinner? Yes. Clap, clap. Okay, Michelle, how about you sitting here next to me? Sure. Carolyn, can I get you to sit over here? Sure. Anna Catherine, how about you over here? Annie, how about you over here? I'm going to seat you next to Steve. Steve, can I get you to sit at the end? Larry, can I get you to sit here next to Carolyn? Edward, how about you sitting across from me? Oh, thank you. Ed, are you over there?
Owen, where are you? I can't see you.
Yeah, okay. I kind of made a mistake with the vase. The vase is too tall, and this beautiful flower arrangement, unfortunately, has to go. Ed, would you mind just taking the flowers and putting them on the table behind you? Thank you. Everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Cheers. Annie, cheers. Carolyn, Larry, Kaching. Our first course tonight is a gazpacho. It's a cold vegetable soup. I hope you enjoy it.
Water's great.
I've stepped away from the table for a moment while my guests are finishing up their soup to go ahead and get the salmon and rice started. The rice is a pre-packaged mix, makes it very easy. I've already gotten the water boiling, so all I'm going to do is add the rice into the water. It just needs to simmer. Now, I can't emphasize enough, if you don't want to cook, you don't have to. Nowadays, there are so many prepared foods available that you can use that as an alternative to cooking. This is not about you showing off your cooking skills. It's about you having friends over to your home to enjoy a good time in your company. I love to cook. I've been doing it all my life. So that's why I enjoy doing it. But this isn't about stressing yourself out over cooking. It's about having friends over for a good meal. Okay, the salmon is done, the rice is done. I'm ready to start assembling the dishes and then taking them out to the dinner table. Okay, tonight I have made a baked salmon with a mustard sauce, served with asparagus marinated in a red onion mustard vinaigrette with saffron rice. And I hope that you will all dig in and enjoy.
Beautiful. Thank you. Enjoy.
There's extra mustard sauce for the salmon if you want it. Sauce is basically olive oil, a couple different kinds of, there's Dijon mustard and dry mustard, some sugar in it, and that's really it. There's extra mustard. Dinner's over. I've already sliced the fresh berry tart, and now I'm delivering it to the table. I hear that's a fabulous place to go shopping.
What I like these done is that I tell people that
Mustard sauce, I don't think it's cute. Well, the last guest has left. The dinner is done. One of many more to come. I hope you've enjoyed the evening as much as I have, and I look forward to seeing you again. Good evening.